Cinema Classics is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE. I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
I'm John DeSando.
And this is Cinema Classics.
Yes.
As usual.
Yes.
Coming at you.
Yes.
At the same time, on the same channel.
In the same old studio.
In the same studio.
Oh, boy.
The same sunglasses.
7 years of this stuff.
7 years.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
my
God.
Yeah, I know. Now, look at much younger than we is a guy who I
don't think he's much younger than me.
You're right.
All
right.
Thanks
much
for the clarification.
Much older than you and younger than I
Yeah.
is Charlie Kaufman, who's kind of kicking up dust all over the place.
Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah.
The one of the great screenwriters of contemporary cinema.
Yep.
Moving into directing, is he not?
Yeah, second one is Anomalisa.
Okay.
Out now.
And currently nominated for Best Animated Feature at the #OscarsSoWhite. You know?
That site. All right. I know what that is. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Charlie...
Wait, first of all, let me say this. You're going to have to hold my hand through this walk through the eccentric work of Charlie Kaufman.
I got
because
you.
I'm not quite as up to speed on it as
Listen,
I
I'm not absolutely certain about Charlie either, and that's why we have Charlie on our show now, because I think we need to introduce him to our audience and to ourselves.
Okay.
Because he really has only a handful of productions that the cognoscenti really believe in him as
wow.
one of the great writers.
That sounds like a Charlie Kaufman title.
It does, doesn't it? But anyway, the most famous one came out in, I would say 1999.
Okay.
It really his first film writing production. Actually, I think his first film writing assignment that I know of being John Malkovich.
Yes,
in
directed by Spike Jonze.
Okay, right.
So yeah, that was a sort of a cult hit from the start.
Wow, yeah.
Super meta.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
and that isn't that really the hallmark of his work so far, is this self-reflexive, there's usually a character who's painfully self-aware,
right.
But then the film itself is this meta-reflexive kind of extravaganza.
Yeah, a very introspective character, a character full of doubts about himself.
Yeah.
And even in Anomalisa, you have that middle-aged spokesman for customer care.
Yeah.
and then he, back when he's going into the head of John Malkovich. Who does this kind of thing?
Right, and it was starring multiple John Malkoviches. But it's interesting, as that movie has garnered such a sort of cult status as a late 90s masterpiece. I've only seen it the one time. He followed that up with another screenplay adaptation.
Boy,
right?
That's a humdinger.
Yeah, that...
It is
Again, I've only seen it one time, and
well,
yet,
yeah.
of all, it stuck with me. That's Nicolas Cage, this time in a dual role,
right,
playing twin brothers.
Great job. So good that he doesn't even change his physical appearance, but yet you know which character he is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
one of Nicolas Cage's finest moments,
yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
Also starred Meryl Streep, didn't it?
That's right. She played the Orchid Lady.
Yeah. So it was based on this is where it gets weird, see? Because the initial story was published in the New Yorker, wasn't it? About orchids.
Okay, yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
And
about a fellow, I think, who was obsessed about orchids, and I think Streep maybe would have been the writer.
The writer.
That's right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then somehow Charlie Kaufman turns it into a story about adapting that story in the New Yorker into a screenplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got great
It's
memory.
really heady stuff. Also, I remember, quite powerful.
Yeah. And so he's on a roll. So 2004, which is just 2 years after this. Let's say this: 2002, that same year, he has Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, which is got a little bit different. Okay?
Yeah, that was a George Clooney flop.
Directed by Clooney, and about Chuck Barris,
Mm-hmm.
the TV show,
The Gong Show host.
Gong Show host, who claimed he had murdered 25 people for the CIA.
Yeah, right.
And I remember Roger Ebert saying, "Look I've had a TV show, and a weekly TV show, and there's no way you could murder 25 people."
That was a misfire, though, don't you think?
Well, probably.
Do you think it was that Clooney was ill-equipped to handle Kaufman's complexity?
Well, I think it may have had to do with the character of Barris himself, who was just so out there anyway. You didn't give Kaufman a chance to show what he can do with just a kind of normal guy and get inside his head.
Yeah.
Of course, Malkovich is not normal either. But anyway, the one I think that the cinephiles love the best.
Mm. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah.
You know what he loves to do is come up with these titles that stymie moviegoers at the box office. Can you imagine people? I'll have 2 for the Jim Carrey movie.
Right. And
so
all right. So you have Eternal Sunshine. Then
again, still screen.
That's right.
This one directed by Michel Gondry.
Yeah. And then 4 years later, taking his time, he directs, I believe, Synecdoche, New York.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Exactly, your point. I'll have one ticket for
I'll have
Binghamton.
one ticket for. I think he just does that so only a select few people can see his films. The intellectual elite. Yeah. Now that movie, I did not see.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Surmise it for me.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Really, one of Charlie's most normal, if you want to say. Hoffman plays a playwright.
Mm-hmm.
And he is involved with all the crazy people that now your son is involved in a play,
yeah.
And all the crazy people that he has to deal with in pulling that play off, all the crazy people we have to deal with in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
And so he gets into the mind of this director, played by, of course, who else but Philip Seymour Hoffman. And believe me, that's it for me.
Isn't the central conceit of the film that they build the set is like supposed to be a to scale set of New York City?
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, so
somehow inside of a building.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes Charlie very difficult to find even on IMDb. You're going to get another Charles Kaufman, till you get to others from Charlie Kaufman.
Really?
And I think it's because most people would be put off by the stretch of his imagination, and so he because his oeuvre has been actually fairly small for a man in his 50s.
His oeuvre. Okay, you've said cognoscenti, oeuvre, synecdoche.
This is cinema classes, baby.
Yeah, we
pull no punches.
We are operating on a Charlie Kaufman-esque level of highfalutenness.
Exactly. And it's funny, he started back in 1996 writing for the Dana Carvey show.
Wow.
So, that was pretty funny stuff.
Yeah.
Not completely out there.
And I think it lasted not even an entire season.
Right. But anyway, so then we come to currently Anomalisa, which I think may be his most accessible in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
I think his protagonist is not quite as weird as some of the other people he's had. I think again he uses the puppet motif again. He likes
this is a stop motion animated.
You bet, and very much like John Malkovich in the sense that John Malkovich. In Malkovich, it was who was the puppeteer? Who was the central puppeteer?
I don't remember.
Okay. Anyway, in John Malkovich, you have a puppeteer who then takes the film into various places, including the little closet.
Yeah.
That if you go in through this the floor 7.5, with
yeah,
all
right.
these characters that are just as weird as the floor, and then a little closet where you can go in into the mind of John Malkovich, and they start bringing people in to go into his mind,
Yeah.
and even Malkovich comes into his mind. This thing is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that kind of puppet motif, whatever
Mhm.
that means, and I think for Charlie it means
Well,
that most of us are puppets.
Of course,
You know,
it has
we
to
have
have
no
some sort of
identity.
cosmic
Of
implication,
course it does.
right?
So he's here in this one today, actually making some sense and being nominated for an Oscar.
Hmm.
So, you know,
So,
so
he's coming to his own as a director. Anyway, you want to sum up the plot of Anomalisa for folks who haven't seen it yet?
yeah, his central character, Michael Stone, is a guru of sorts of. I always laugh at of customer care people, and they're having a conference. Can you imagine anything more exciting? And for those of you who remember Bill Murray in Lost in Translation, he's in a different city
Mhm.
giving his conference.
I see.
And he's pretty lonely. And look, he has a family, but he's really looking for a connection with human beings. Well, almost all the other puppets look the same,
Okay.
which will tell you. And then he meets this little chick
Uh-huh.
who is one of the devotees, one of his devotees. She's a customer care person too. I think she's a call girl in the sense of calls.
Oh,
Phone.
I see.
All right. But she's completely different from anybody else, and he falls for her.
Yeah.
And this is the moment. Now he has moments, just as in the beginning of Lost in Translation, where he's going in a cab, he's meeting goofy people, he's doing all kinds of very small things that we all do when we travel, and somehow he makes it establish this character as a guy who's really lost. And so it goes on to show how he interacts with this chick.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best puppet sex scenes in film history.
Yes. You know, everybody's talking about this puppet sex scene
Yeah.
as though it's the first.
It's not, is
And
it?
it had you'll remember Team America
Right.
beat Anomalisa to the punch
Yes.
many years ago.
Yes, yes. So that's how weird Charlie can be without putting you off too much.
Yeah.
And so that happens, and it evolves as you might have expected it. I don't need to reveal how the ending goes, but there's nothing transformative about anything. And that's part of the depression of it, is that this guy seems locked in a banal life.
Yeah.
But
As so many of us are.
yeah, you speak for yourself, and you hardly are. But anyway,
I wasn't implying there was no self-implication there.
so do you think that we're reaching the end of this show?
I think this is the end.
And that we've suddenly gone into our minds?
Yes, we're receding self-reflexively back into our minds. Yeah, Charlie Kaufman, one of the great contemporary talents, and this movie, Anomalisa, nominated for Best Animated Feature.
Yep.